everyone. Happy Sunday. Ignore my dogs, they are playing in the background with a very squeaky toy. So I've got them entertained semi so they don't try and bomb my video. But I thought I'd jump on and talk to you about how bullying is impacting your health, and not just your mental health, your overall health. And I guess a lot of the times we only think about this when it's a bit too late and we're already in the throes of the impacts of bullying, and we forget to kind of self-check. And I know that I'm guilty of it as well, because if anyone else or my friends or family were in the situation that I would be in, I would be advocating for them and I would be telling them to make some changes and helping them as best I can. But I guess for me, when I started in the workplace, I was very young, and society kind of conditions you to, thank you, Margot, conditions you to kind of tough it out and just work's not meant to be easy, and you don't get a free ride and a easy ride. Especially in Australia, it's the school of hard knocks, and we're expected to just grin and bear it. And I think a lot of people do not realize how much bullying does impact their health and their overall health. So it's physical, mental, so everything's kind of all encompassing. And from my experience in different forms of bullying, it was the anxiety and the depression, but it was also the fatigue and the social isolation and just feeling really drained and not wanting to do anything, because I actually did get sick quite a lot. So that was another symptom. But I also stopped exercising because I didn't feel like going out, and then I started to put on weight or lose weight, depending on, something's dripping on me, depending on what was happening and where it was going. I also didn't get a lot of sleep, or I was trying to sleep too much. So bullying can impact so many different facets, more than just anxiety and depression, and it's an overall experience of kind of, it's draining, and it just destroys you. So I think a lot of the times we focus so much on our mental health, we forget that our mental health and our physical health are all connected. And with bullying, we need to make sure that we are aware of both sides, but aware that until we can kind of put ourselves into prioritize ourselves to make sure that we get ourselves into a happy and safe environment, then there's only so much you can do to be able to change your physical and your mental state. Because if you stay in that traumatic situation, it's just going to keep coming back. And so no matter what you put in place, you might be doing really well, and you might be kind of putting some really great routines and other activities in place, but you might just have a really bad week or two in workplace bullying, and then it's going to cut you back down, and you're going to struggle to stay on top of everything. So I think as long as you prioritize yourself and your health, but also look at your whole situation and ask yourself, is the situation that you're in really serving you, and is it necessary? Do you have other options? And I know I've talked about this quite a lot with lots of different topics and videos, but I wish someone had have been able to explain to me how much bullying would have impacted me, and I thought it would be fine, I'd just tough it out. But the years that it has taken me to be able to come back to a semblance of normal and to feel like myself, I would have rathered not have to go through that. Obviously it's made me a stronger person, but it does have lasting effects on your physical and mental health, and that's the kind of thing that people don't really talk about. And once you're out of the bullying situation, and I would definitely encourage everyone to get out as quickly as possible, or at least find yourself into a more positive situation that you can start to heal and thrive. But I wish people had have been able to advocate for me and explain the effects of bullying and the damage that it can have, and it does have, on all facets of our life, because I feel like I've wasted a lot of time trying to overcome and deal with bullying, where I could have been living my life and actually helping other people and having an impact on the world in a much bigger way, rather than staying at home because I couldn't leave the house, or not getting enough sleep, so the bags under my eyes were so bad that I'd try and cover them with makeup, and then I'd break out with pimples. So that's a couple of different things that people don't talk about. They don't kind of tell you about the after effects, and it doesn't just go away. It doesn't stop once you're out of a workplace bullying situation. They're like, oh well, good for you, you're out, but that's great, but what damage has been done and how can you repair that? And I guess that's something that we need to keep talking about and make it aware, so that people know that they're still going to have some suffering after workplace bullying. It's part of your life, and it's part of your lived experience, and it's not going to go away. So we need to work out how to manage that and how to be supportive humans of everyone, so that you may not see their struggle, but it doesn't mean that it isn't there, and it doesn't mean that it isn't valid. So I think if you can prioritize, and even if it's not for yourself, I always say this, you're more likely to do it for someone else. So if you see someone else struggling, or someone that's impacted by workplace bullying, maybe even just hear them out, listen to what they have to say, or even ask them if they'd like to do something fun, because that tends to take people's mind off. And I don't know whether anyone realizes, when you're in workplace bullying and you kind of say that you're not available because work tends to take over your life, people stop inviting you to places and to different gatherings, and it actually takes you a really long time to remind people that you're still here. And especially when you do have time, they still don't invite you because they don't know that you're available, they don't know that you can come again, and you feel awkward kind of putting that out there and saying, can you please start inviting me to things again, guys? So I think if you can reach out to someone, you never know what they're actually thinking, feeling, and if it's been a little while, just reach out and say, hey, how are you going? I actually did that with a friend and a previous work colleague recently, and she's actually doing really well, and we're going to have a catch up next week, so I'll let you know how that goes. But someone that's also within your circle that you've maybe lost some touch with, and maybe they were part of your workplace bullying situation, they weren't the bully, but maybe they were kind of a kindred spirit along the ride, and they were having their own workplace bullying situation in conjunction with yours. So reach out to different people, and you'd be so surprised to see other people's reactions. I know that we make up reactions and scenarios in our head, and kind of and we don't bother exploring those scenarios because we're like, well, we've already worked it out. That's just how it's going to be. So make sure that you don't assume, don't put answers and words into other people's mouths before you've even asked the question. Reach out to someone, and even do the same. Maybe if you need to remind people that you're still there and you'd like to be invited to places. That's a long process, but I would encourage you to start the process, especially around Christmas time. Don't assume that people just haven't invited you because they don't want to invite you. Some people don't want to make you feel uncomfortable and make you feel like you need to go. So bear that in mind. I hope that helps, and make sure that you're prioritizing your mental and physical health, and we'll chat soon. Thanks guys, bye.